Good morning to you. Welcome. It is, of course, today, Wednesday, the 3rd of May. And today's story we have is something that's not been discussed, which is the implications of scrapping the WCA. That is the Work Capability Assessment, or as we know it, it's called Fit for Work. It's a Fit for Work test which they did for people to divide them into the two categories. One is searching for work and the other one is basically you're just claiming your benefit and you don't have to look for work, you don't have to do any work. Obviously this is for more severely disabled people. But the WCA is a contentious issue that was recently scrapped by the DWP, although in my video there was nothing there when I made it the other week. There was nothing in that video that seemed to say what they were going to do instead of it. So how are they going to cope with deciding whether you can work or not, or whether you are in the various groups for ESA. The story says a little bit more because there's a document that the DWP have. They're refusing to release it, and obviously this will discuss the impact of scrapping it, the WCA. So obviously we need to know what is in that document, really. So So let's have a look at the actual article. So they're blocking the release of this document that would show impact of scrapping the Fit for Work test. This was released on the 27th of April, and obviously it is a story that's quite important. So controversial plans to scrap the WCA would impact disabled people. Now, obviously the Transforming Support White Paper on disabled people and other minorities. However, the DWP is refusing to do the same for its proposal to scrap the Fit for Work test. The DWP has released equality impact assessments for 8 policies, including proposals on information and advice, the Access to Work scheme, the Work and Health programme, and local supported employment, but is refusing to do the same for the occupational health services, which have not yet been finalised, and the controversial plan to scrap the WCA if the Conservatives win the next general election. Well, that pretty much they're not going to win it, so we may as well ignore the scrapping of the WCA. In actual truth, because I don't think they're going to win, and anybody who votes for Conservative needs their head looking. So we'll talk about that more in another video. So this is the Disability News Service that's reported this FOI, Freedom of Information, and said that it had considered equality impacts in its work on removing WCA, but the information was exempt from disclosure under the FOI because the details were still being used to help shape government policy. So obviously they're trying to get around, we haven't decided on what we're going to do yet. So, because obviously they have to rely on they're going to win the next general election. Now obviously they have to balance this against the fact that the policy proposing the removal of the WCA is still in development. It's important the government preserves its safe space. It's got a safe space. Oh dear, that's funny. Now obviously the concern focused on proposals to scrap this new fitness for work power to work coaches. So they're going to let the work coaches decide on whether you can work or not. So obviously some are going to be biased, aren't they? Under the plans, the disabled people who cannot work will only be able to qualify for a new health element of WC if they also receive the PIP, DLA, or the disability payment in Scotland. So if you already get those and you go on to UC, then you will get the disability element of that. If you're not getting them, then you won't get it on UC. And anybody thinking about going to UC, please do not do it without checking if you're going to be worse off or better off. Now, most people, unfortunately, will be worse off long term. So please beware. Get some advice. Eligibility for the out of work disability benefits would therefore be decided through the PIP or DLA assessment. So if you have one for one of those and you've done the assessment, they will decide on whether you can work or not. So basically they've cut out one of the assessments which they used to do separately. Another key concern is that the proposals would appear to remove a vital safety net for those who face a substantial risk of harm if found fit for work. It's a lot of responsibility onto a assessment which is more about, well, what you can't do or what you need help with, because that's what PIP is all about, getting help for stuff that you can't do, whereas now they're putting the idea that if you can't work as well, they're saying, so all in one. It's a bit dangerous, really. So the scrapping of the WCA without reform or replacement has been presented so far as a fait accompli. So if they do win, then it will be guaranteed that this will come in. As for linking the new health element of the UC to PIP only and all benefit conditionality being at the discretion of work coaches. Now you can imagine there's going to be some work coaches out there who are going to say, yeah, that's fine, you don't have to do any work, blah, 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 in a nice way because of your disability. And there will be other ones who don't give a toss who will say you qualify for it and you need to look for work. Basically, you see, if you're on UC, you'll be looking for work the entire time. So 35 hours a week if you are in that category. And if you don't look for work, you lose your benefit. So beware. UC is that Trojan horse of basically taking away your security for being disabled and getting all of those disabled things that you get with the system and the money being taken away because UC is not guaranteed to pay the same amount. Obviously this will lead to many people being financially worse off at the risk of benefit sanctions. And obviously this will be a great responsibility for those work coaches who are probably already overworked anyway. So the Labour Shadow Work and Pensions Secretary, who's pretty useless anyway, told Minister Tom Purslug in Parliament this week that his proposal to essentially collapse the work capability assessment into the PIP assessment would mean up to 1 million people with various health conditions or those recovering from treatment could lose out on up to £350 a month, which he said was causing considerable distress. So you can see that this whole plan is about taking away money from people that need it, who can't work, and forcing those who are on the borderline from looking for work, even though that may be impacting their health or it may be impacting their ability to function. It may impact their money as well, because obviously on UC, as you earn money coming in, they take that from you on your benefits. So if you're unable to earn money, particularly 1 week or 1 month, you're not well, and who is going to have an employer who's going to allow you to have time off if you're not well? Hardly any of these employers are going to do that, unfortunately, because that is a fact of life. That if you're severely disabled and you're relying on this, and then you're told you must work, that's going to be quite traumatic. So that is the story. Please do comment down below and see what you say. It could be the idea that the DWP are just putting this out there as an idea, and certainly rely on them winning the election, because personally I don't think they've got a chance. And certainly if you are going to vote for them, then you need your head looking into. Give yourself a little shake, and then vote for something decent like nobody. We'll tell you how to do that, but you do need to vote, but you need to spoil your ballot. That's what you need to do. You need to vote, definitely, but spoil your ballot, because that's the only way that they can record your vote. If you don't vote, then it's a no vote, basically. Let's take it that there are 100 people voting, right? Let's say 75 of those vote and 25 say, nah, I'm not going to vote for anybody, they're all a bunch of tosspots. So 25 people do not vote. So the turnout for that is 75%, because 75% of the people turned out and voted. So it's quite low. Now if the 25, if they voted as well, but they spoiled their ballot, it will be 100% turnout, with 25%, as basically a quarter of the people voting are saying, up yours. We don't want it. We don't want any of these tosspots. And in spoiling the ballot, it does send a message. So rather than having 25% not voting at all, in which case it will be used as propaganda, because they will use it as propaganda, it will be 25% who've said up yours. And that's what they need. They need to be told that we do not want them. And I know there are people out there who are saying, well, vote for an independent. The problem is when you vote for some independent, it allows the other ones to win because of the way it works. And of course, we'll end up with Labour or Conservative again. And we don't want that. We want to get rid of them altogether. Right, that is it. Have a very good day, and I'll catch you next video. Please don't forget Rumble. Go over there and sign up, follow, subscribe, whatever you want to do, because they are changing their live streaming for the better. It could be a good platform to live stream from, because obviously with YouTube, every week my videos get flagged, and for 3 or 4 days when I appeal it, I don't get any money for it because they don't put adverts. They do, but they keep the money and they don't give me the money for the adverts. So, and then of course what happens is they find that, oh yeah, it is perfectly okay for adverts. But by that time, all of the views that I would have got have done. I don't get any more. 2 to 3 days for each live stream. So basically what they're doing is they are flagging my video every week, and then I appeal, and then they find in favour of me, but by that time it's too late. All of the views are done, so I get nothing for it. I'm getting very annoyed about it, really, because it's happening every week, and every week they find in my favour. That's another story. That's it. Have a good day. Bye for now.